for women who knows that they're not living the life they want, and the reason they're not is because the power they need, which is in their full expression, which is including her sex, right? She knows she's never going to make the money she wants. She's never going to be unapologetically hot. She's never going to be able to own her sex in the presence of groups of men ogling her, wanting to fuck her. She's never going to want to run, stop the whole running and hiding because men are going to grape me and assault me, and I don't like male attention and they're predators. And I'm scared that that man who assaulted me years ago is gonna happen again with another man. Therefore, I remain overweight. Therefore, I remain envying and hating other women. Therefore, I avoid admitting that I want to be hot, that I want to be alive in my body, that I put LOL at the end of all of my sentences because I'm afraid to take a stand, that I don't say what I mean, that the power that I need to say what I mean, the inner fortitude that I need to be who I am is in my sex. It's in my sex. It's in my arousal. It's in my full willingness for my coochie to be hot, for me to be alive in my body, for me to be activated by the sun without turning into a giggly little thing who wants to seem non-threatening. So I make myself seem smaller and when really I know myself to be a multitude of things. Is that you? You know yourself to be both the giggly little playful thing and the vixen. You know yourself to be hot and erotic and on, and you know yourself to be nothing. All right, so we got some talking. We got some teaching to do. And I want to have a good time. I need to have a good time, baby. If you're new to me, my name is Naeem. I've been working with women for 13 years, and I know for a fact that most women will be average for the rest of their lives. They will be normal average, and they will resent themselves and other people. They will seek to control men and other people. They will, right? Because when a woman, everything is set up for a woman to not own her sex. As long as a woman doesn't own her sex, she ain't going nowhere. She ain't going nowhere. You ain't got to worry about her doing nothing much other than getting a job, getting a degree, getting a car, maybe traveling. Okay, so really, the patriarchy ain't got to worry about nothing. You know what I mean? Patriarchy ain't got to worry about nothing. Nobody ain't got to worry about women taking over shit. Okay, because women ain't taking over nothing. If she is still triggered by a hot woman in her presence, if she knows that if her man see a hot woman and that get her worried and riled up, if she is concerned about being called a whole slut bitch, if she, got a problem with allowing herself to explore her repressed aspects, you ain't got to worry about women taking over shit. You ain't got to worry about her ever being powerful. You ain't got to worry about her doing much of nothing but being a triggered little thing, running around, lying, repressing, trying to control men from underneath. So why do I say this? One, for those of you who have been on the receiving end of a woman's evilness, okay? For those of you who still find yourself not letting yourself own who you are because you've been on the receiving end of maybe your mother's wickedness, girls from high school, chicks at work, friends, you've been on the receiving end of them plotting evilness, wanting to devour you, nastiness, just like all the shit that comes with a woman who refuses to own who she is, who refuses to do the work of coming into her power. And so because you're afraid of being attacked again, you're afraid of not having friends, you're afraid of the quality of you and your mother's relationship, you're afraid of maybe you were assaulted when you were young sexually, and you're afraid of that happening again when you are fully alive in your body, fully magnetic, not trying to pretend like you're something smaller, not lying because you're male attention and they're predators. And so all these different dynamics keeps you not being who you are, but then you pay the price of that. And the price you pay of that is not creating the content so you don't get paid, not going for the bigger job and career so you don't get paid, never feeling yourself fully and sustainably, like you never actually come out into the world and be who you really are. You admire and envy other women from afar, but there's a deep part of you that feels a kind of about it. And then the whole ongoing impact of that, you overeat, you get hyper anxious on things that you feel like you could control, like shopping and working more and being controlling and hyper judgmental and hyper gossipy. And this is the domino effect of a woman not being able to sit fully and love and be turned on by herself and walk out to the grocery store, go to the gas station, go where there's groups of men and be 100% on without it feeling like work, without it feeling like a job, without it feeling exhausting to hold her own power. It should not be exhausting to hold what is yours. Okay? It should not, it feels so exhausting to be 100% powerful all the time. Oh my God, can I do that? Can I handle that? See, that's what happens when we think about power through the masculine lens. The masculine lens is all about force, dominance. And this is why you see women trying to control men through force, trying to control men through all these conning tactics and all of these masculine ways. No, a woman's real power is soft. Your power is to learn how to sit with the fire that you are. So that means you're navigating shame. The fire that you are, you're navigating groups of men looking at you and you can feel their desire to take you, fuck you, have you. And you don't feel the need to run, to cower, cover up, start blaming, giving, bitch face. Look, all the things women do as defense mechanisms, scared because she doesn't know how to sit and own who she is, where everything a man does is because of who she's being. She's an instrument. She's not afraid of the male gaze. She's not afraid of she's not afraid of women wanting to fuck her. She's afraid. In order to do this, you navigate the shame in you. All the deities we love to worship, all the sexual vixens in history that we love to worship and look at as something else, but really it's in us. There's work to do. So this is where Shadow Gold comes in. And what I'm going to be offering and talking more about here today is for every woman who pays in full for Shadow Gold. I'm going to work with you for 45 days, very deliberately, on you gaining softness and intimacy with your sex. Okay? Owning all energies. Learning how to deal with the you that's terrified of being called a slut, whore, bitch, bed wench, anything. So many women got their own, worried about not being chose, worried about ending up alone. I don't know, feeling the, there's so many of them. So let me reiterate this, baby, because to be a woman, to be a woman, to be in complete comfort with the slut in you, to be in complete comfort as the whole world watches, commanding the money, the quality of presence, whatever you decide. You can talk about what you want to talk about online, offline. You can watch a man. You can play. You can, when you want to, if you want to. Is that important to you? Let me know in the comments. Is that important to you? Does your money depend on it? Does the house you want to buy depend on it? Does your self-respect depend on it? Does where you're going to be living in the next year depend on it? Does who you open your legs to next depend on it? Does the way you feel in your body when you walk by the mirror depend on it? See? Let me tell you, babe. Ooh, child. The whole damn religious doctrine is to tame a woman's sex. Most of it is to tame a woman's sex. What does that tell you? Men spend their entire lives monitoring women, creating laws. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Huh? So what you gonna do with it now? And so now, first of all, I want to reiterate, and then I'm gonna move on, and I want to answer questions too. We can really get into this, okay? Some things that I think could be useful here, and I'll let y'all holla at me and tell me what y'all feel intuitively drawn to. Losing control, being a sex slave, being the man during sex, you as the woman being the man during sex, as a means of exploration and owning your sex. All of this is as a means of exploration and knowing who you are, dissolving shame, going on a 30-day, I call it a rampage. You could call it whatever you want to. But basically 30 days of doing the thing that you fear doing as a means to alchemize the fear of it. Okay. Any of those, holla at me. Holla in the comments. Which of those feel like, ooh, yeah, that. Tell me. I think I just named 4. Somebody said losing control. What else? So let me say this. I'm very happy to work with a small group of women starting next Monday for 45 days. You're going to go through Shadow Gold. Shadow Gold, let me lift this up, make sure y'all can read it. So you see this right here? Shadow Gold is my primal foundational course for women. This is for women. It's primal. It's meant to take you directly home to the sex in you. We go down into the shame, the lies you tell yourself, to deal with it all, okay? And so when you pay in full for Shadow Gold is $5,000. When you pay in full for Shadow Gold, I'm going to work with you for a month and a half, okay? For a month and a half, and we start next Monday, okay? Not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, okay? And we're going to work through you doing this 30-day rampage. I oftentimes recommend women do that. Owning all energies, which is a part of Shadow Gold. And basically what is immediately important to you in owning your sex, whether we're dealing with shame you're dealing with because of sexual assault, that's a big one for women. You know, rape, molestation, those of you who know that you are carrying weight, like you're overweight as a means of protection yourself, like hiding, okay? And you know that that's getting in the way of you being willing to be seen on camera, to speak honestly on camera, to talk about the things you actually want to talk about: healing, death, sex, aliveness. You know, for those of you who feel very called to be global, to host global retreats, to write and sell lots of books, to be able to coach women worldwide. There's a lot of women. There's a lot of money to be made in coaching, and a lot of it is not in the United States. And I'll tell you, if you're new to me, I've been online for 13 years coaching women. I'm telling you, I didn't even cross the 7-figure mark working with Black women, to tell you the truth. I crossed the 7-figure mark working with a lot of white women and a lot of foreign women. Okay, a lot of white women and a lot of foreign women. Okay, so non-American women. Why am I telling you this? Because when you own your sex, when you are willing to be seen on the world stage, like this is like the world stage, right? If you're called to go speak in Sweden, speak in London, speak in Zurich, speak, wherever abroad, right? But those invitations either don't come to you, or when they do, you say no and get all, like this. Because 1, you're overweight. 2, you're scared of being seen. You're scared of being judged, all the things. And so your lack of willingness at a core level is the root of you, which is the primal of you, which is where all of your animation, expression, laughter, speaking immediately without needing to think about something 17 times, to the point where by the time you say it, it's not even you, because you thought about it. Let me think about it. I'm thinking about it. Let me go think about it and think about it. Then when you finally say it, you sound like a robot. Like, how important is the next 6 months of your life? It's major. So the prompt, make him come in his pants. It's because while what I'm saying is true and relevant and important and at a higher order level, yes, I help you do that. This is what get a lot of women going right here. The truth is, this is what get a lot of women going. And the truth is, when you own your sex, I mean, because this is true too. These are all true at the same time. So I can say this because a lot of y'all have figured this out now because of all the content online. So shout out to all of the women who are teaching women, and even the men who are teaching women about the nature of the male. I don't care how much money he got. I don't care how he evolved he seemed like he is. Okay. I don't care how many vaginas he didn't stuck his penis inside of. I don't care how Christian he is. Okay. First of all, we're all primal beings. I know people talk about primal in a bastard, lowly way. We're all primal. Even when you actually do become evolved, you're still primal. Okay, the fact that you got to eat, the fact that you're driven to eat and sleep and protect yourself is a primal instinct. Okay, so even in your evolved state, you're primal. And so I say all that because when men are very turned on by women who own their sex. Men who are men, okay, men are very turned on by a woman who owns her sex. Now, let me be clear about this because it's different minds here right now, okay? When I say sex, I'm not talking about mere penetration. No. I'm talking about a woman who knows who she is. And a woman is sex. A woman is sex. The feminine being is erotic. In its truest whole state, she is sex. So denial of that automatically, anybody who lays eyes on you, who's mature and adult, they can see you not in whole, like we know. Okay. A man knows, a woman knows, we know. Okay. So any man who's a man who wants a woman who stands in who she is, not none of this, I'm putting up my boundaries because niggas ain't. There's a boundary and then there's a standard. Okay. Listen, there's a boundary and then there's a standard. Tell me what you see as the difference between a boundary and a standard. Or maybe we don't need to talk about it, but why am I sharing this? Because the magnet that I know a lot of women want to be. Yeah, stand around. The magnet that I know a lot of women want to be. The magnet that I know a lot of women want to be. The magnet for whatever the thing is. The man, the money, the lifestyle, the quality of people, and her being able to handle it. Could you handle a man coming into your orbit right now? Could you handle a hot woman who was unapologetically sexy in your field? She's not trying to hide nothing about her sex. She's not trying to hide nothing about her hunger, her deep hunger. She's not trying to like make sure you like her, or she's not trying to make sure she seem appropriate or make sure you don't judge her. She ain't trying to do none of that. And she just right there. How are you going to respond to that? See? Men who lie to you because they see, even when they tell you some truth, you start emoting all, you can't even stand up straight. All of a sudden, I don't know, because I'm not that kind of, because I don't. So then he got to lie to you to get the pussy. And then you get mad that he lied. But then when he told you the truth, you was falling all over yourself, judging him every which way. Can you handle the truth of a man? See, you want to be, what kind of magnet are you looking to be? I can only handle, you need to lie to me sweetly because I can't handle the truth. Let me ask you this. Are you drawn to honest people? Answer in the comments. Tell the truth. Are you drawn to people who are horribly honest? Wait a Tell the truth. Honest. Oh, God damn. Hold on. Hold my hand before you say it. God damn. Somebody say, I want to be a sex magnet. Be who you are. Y'all gonna tell? Who here want the truth from men? Who here wants the truth from men? Like you at the gas station or at Target or at a party or coffee shop, and to you, you look fabulous. And you are attractive. You are clearly attractive. But you're not attractive to him. But he might come over and play, right? Because, right, you're there, you're attractive. And he come over to you and he say, you're not really my type, but what's up? You gonna be like, hey, you want to sit down and have coffee now? You want to give me your number now? Or do he need to come over to you and say, I like what I see? Now, let me ask you this. Are you going to be honest with him? So for a woman, I want to do just remember I said a woman's power is soft. It's not force. It's not trying to control folks and all that. So a man come over to you, or he even is looking at you. You can see him checking you out from a distance. But let's say he comes over to you, right? I think some of you have maybe heard the saying, a man goes out on a date and he's thinking, I hope I like her. And the woman is thinking, I hope he likes me. Okay. Man is thinking, man, I hope I like this girl. She thinking, ooh, I hope he like me. Ooh, I hope he like me. Am I cute? Ooh, I hope he like me. Ooh, he be cute. You don't know nothing about this man. You don't even know if you really like him. You don't know nothing other than what he look like. And the little bit that has come up out of his mouth. You don't know nothing about this man. But you like, I hope he like me. Versus when you own your sex. Okay. Now when you own your sex. Now, owning your sex is all of you. The sex is just the bottom of you. It's the root, it's the core from which all your animation comes from. The lipstick you choose, the way you choose to talk, the way you even feel to people. Like, you see somebody at a grocery store and they feel like this kind of person. You at the gas station and they feel like this kind of person. When people look at you, they have the same reaction. Oh, she feel like this. A dude looking at you and he like, oh, she seemed like this kind of broad. Oh, she seemed like this kind of broad, right? And then depending on what you dress, how you move, oh, yeah, right? And this is, men are sizing you up. And this is why you've heard the whole thing. When you look like you know who you are, you get less attention. When you look like you don't know who you are, you get more attention because you're easier to access, right? Or at least it seems that way. So a man is looking at you, he approaches you, he come over to you, and that's him initiating. Now your presence triggered his initiation, right? He didn't just see some ugly thing or some beastie looking thing and just decided to come over. Most likely it was something about your look that caused him to come over. So you initiated his initiation. Okay, he comes over to you, he strikes up a conversation, and then boom, the ball is in your court. What do? When you own your sex, you see immediately how you feel in that moment when he approaches you. Yes or no? How do I feel about how he's even approaching me? How do I feel about him approaching me here, where I am right now? Do I feel like talking right now? See? When you own all of who you are. When I say your sex, I'm talking about all of you. That which in you that could be seen as rude, that could look like a bitch, that could look any number of ways a person could name you, or you can name yourself. Do I feel like talking right now? How do I feel about this being? Do I get a good sense about him? Will I even pause long enough to allow my intuition to speak in the moment? Because he might not even be dressed particularly well, but something about his spirit says yes. Are you going to pause enough to see if you want to, or he'd come over to you and automatically you like, hey, how you doing? And you just stay in conversation to be nice because niggas is killing bitches out here. Because, man, I got to be safe. These niggas is. I told y'all earlier, most women will remain average. Even with sex, most women will remain average. So you decide, are you going to really develop? When you really develop, you have access to all your parts, which means you're dealing with a lot of the shame in you. Everything that men seek to shame in women, they often like. Oh, slut, hoe, bitch, all of that. They want a slut. Even if they marry you, they want you to slut them out. Okay? Men like sluts. Don't get it twisted. Even if they want you to dress modestly in public, they want a slut. So everything they shaming about and all of that, a nigga want to get going about the woman he's sticking his dick in. Don't know. He just want to. Yes or no? Y'all know this, okay? Don't you want to be turned on by the man you open your legs to? Don't you want to be excited? You want to look at him and get all, boy, come here, boy. Yeah, you want him to be bad. Right? Same thing, okay? A man want a woman who turn him on for the rest of his life, okay? But I don't care how Christian he is, all of that. He want to look at the woman who he with, especially if this is a woman he want to be with for the long term. He want to look at her for the rest of his life and be like, come here. Come here. So if you think you be doing something, girl, you can keep your modesty, baby. You can keep it, okay? So he comes over to you, he strikes up a conversation. You owning your sex is deciding who you want to be in that. Now, I want to do this for me right now. The beauty. Oh, God. Listen. I know most people don't see this the way I see it. So I have just accepted that that's what it is. And I'm amongst a small group of women who appreciate this and see this. First of all, the natural selection process has been tainted. You know or you don't know, first of all. So it's just a lot of humans walking around that shouldn't be here. So that's the thing. And that's divine order in and of itself too. Okay. I'm not going to go too far off into the spiritual aspect of this, but I feel it here. Okay. But I feel it here. Okay. So there's that. Second, humans are beautiful. Humans are beautiful. Those of you who have small children, or you have adult children, so they were once small, okay? Now, if you were immature raising your small children, maybe you missed this. But I have a niece who's 4, and I've been in her life since she was under 1. And she has an older brother and sister, and I was in their lives less, but still in their lives. And children need mature adults raising them. Being mature, being in my niece's life and watching her evolve, when I tell you, and this is what all humans are before they get tainted by the world. Okay, so I'm going somewhere with this. Listen at me. I'm going somewhere with this, okay? Now, my niece, all humans are selfish, okay? Humans are selfish. They want what they want. That's what it is, okay? They want what they want from young, okay? They want what they want, okay? And humans learn when they're raised right, how to be in right relationship with people so that they get their needs met and the people that they're in relationship with get their needs met. What happens is when they're in a house where they're taught a scarcity, and that scarcity could look any number of ways. We can't afford that. You get shamed for being who you are. The list is long for the ways that most of us are raised in scarcity, men and women. You can't have that. Don't cry. Why are you moving like that? Stop doing that. Girls don't do that. Boys don't do that. And then before you know it, your parents, and most of us had immature parents, even when they did the best they could, but what they had, they just cut us down, cut us down, cut us down. So most of us grow up to be starving children. Please listen, because this relates to dating and mating and what I'm talking about here today. Most of us are starving children in adult bodies. Okay, there's that. Then there's this is chronic, this is vast, and I still want to keep it here to so y'all can hear me, okay? Most women are not going to own their sex responsibly. For the men who are in here, most women are not going to own their sex responsibly. They're going to use it recklessly. They're going to use it as a bargaining tool, as a control tactic, as a so TikTok just sent me a message saying that they restricted. Okay, so okay, fine. So feel welcome to share the live stream, because TikTok is not going to share it anymore because of the nature of the topic. So what this looks like is, because so many of us are starved, meaning we start getting our real self and our real expression shut down from young. Like boys being told they can't cry. Shut up. Stop doing that. You're doing too much. Sit down. You ain't going to get no friends. You ain't going to get a wife. You ain't going to get a husband. That don't look right. Stop. You don't, blah, blah, blah. And so they never blossom in a way that's deliberate, where the parent is paying attention to what their child's proclivities are, questioning them about that, encouraging the child to explore these aspects of themselves, letting the child make mistakes without judgment, guiding them through. And I'm very intentional about that with my niece, because I've been working with women for 13 years. So I know how much of what a 40-year-old woman and man is dealing with today goes back to when she was 7, 15, and all that. And so now, men and women, those of you here today, you're starved today. Now, men and women, those of you here today, you're starved today. And because most women are not owning their sex, and here's the thing, and women oftentimes don't want to hear this, but this is such a lovely thing, ladies. You have the power. I know most of y'all don't want it. I know a lot of y'all feel like it's such a burden and, oh, the responsibility. I know a lot of y'all don't really want it because it is a challenge. It is difficult. It is grown. Not just the grown of being self-sufficient and paying your bills and having a degree. I mean, it's emotionally grown. It's responsible. And so many women and men don't want that. So what happens is, because so many women don't want the responsibility of their power, they just want to be reckless with the sex, like barter it for a wedding ring, trade it for a sense of protection and love, trade it to control and wield it out there just to be like, nigga, this pussy, and just do all of these. So see what I mean? Okay. And so this is basically what the world is made of now. Just lots of women not being responsible for their sex. And women don't like to hear this either. Men feed on women. Now, we have bastardized that and made that wrong. And the reason why women bastardize it and make it wrong is because they too don't want their power. So to be responsible and to be in relationship with the male in her power, and him responding to her not being in her power, which looks like, oh, I'm just the feminine thing that, you're in control, daddy. You have the power, daddy. And she might not say it like this, but it's like, and so then he just comes and he just, what they call conquer. He's just going to be what she allows. And the woman doesn't stand in any real standards. And then so he just does what men do. They just sort of kiki ka, right? And hang in there for whoever they can with as long as they can and do whatever they can and cannot get away with. And that becomes like what a relationship looks like, especially in the US. Abroad, it's about, okay, we're fucking, we're marrying. In many other countries, okay, we're fucking, we're marrying. But it's not really better. It's just, they just do it differently over there. Women are still not in their power with being full, aroused, erotic women, basically being alive. So why am I saying all this? Because, so I feel like I'm talking to multiple people simultaneously, because there's the reality that most women will remain average. Most people are just going to be average. And when a woman owns her sex, she's no longer average. That's the thing. Most women are not in ownership of who they are, which is why men complain about them, because men don't, many of them don't, many of them do know, and many don't know. They are dependent on women being in their power to sort of guide how this thing goes. Okay? Not in like the woman is ruling the shit and she's dictating how shit go. It's just that the quality of the woman's being, right? So for example, when I said he comes up to you and instead of you just going with his program, you pause and check intuitively how you're going to be in that. That's an example of that. Him being dependent on the quality of the woman's being with him, where she's not trying to dominate over him the way men dominate, trying to assert these masculine ways in a feminine body, trying to assert control, not standing in the root of her feminine being as an erotic, lovely thing. And so all of these things combined with you growing up being a starving child in an adult body is why so many, there's all this, what we call a gender war and confusion. And now men are in this loneliness pandemic and they talking about women are stupid and the feminist agenda and women are the feminist agenda is born out of a complete suppression of women and women aggressively seeking to get their power back. That's what feminism is born out of. I think we forget that. It wasn't meant to be nefarious and to divide. It sprung from centuries of the suppression of women being actual women. Am I y'all getting me? Yeah, okay. So I'm giving this context here to go back down to the fact that humans fundamentally, with all our flaws and imperfections, we are beautiful. And I'll say this for the women. You fine thing, you. You fine thing, you. When you come home to everything about you, okay? And so many women avoid coming home to everything about them because they have to address everything they've been ashamed of up till now, everything they feel guilt about, the deep, deep hungers that she still hasn't allowed herself to feel their hunger. And so she stuffs it down with food and TikTok and Love Island and gossip and things that are beneath her, the job that's beneath her, the man that's beneath her, the friend that's beneath her, okay? All the things. So I'm saying that to say that to really own your sex in this way that I'm talking about, you have to be willing to navigate the hell that you have created for yourself, the hell that potentially nobody else knows about, okay? Get shadow gold, pay in full, and I'm working with you for 45 days. When you pay in full, and we start next Monday, okay? You have to, and I have to. The lies you tell that create your hell, what you don't want people to find out about you, okay? What you're wanting, many of you are wanting a man to come in and be your therapist. You want him to be a woman in the relationship. You want him to listen to you the way your female friends do, and you want him to, kiss you on the cheek and be the father you never had. And so you exchange your coochie, okay, for him to be your therapist and your father. You see, like, this is the level of depth that we need to go into. Yes? No? Yes? No? Shadow gold is for women. Shadow gold is for women. Shadow gold is for women. "12 steps help somebody." So I want to segue into your primal state. Somebody here, I think I only saw one person's response. If there's somebody who I didn't see earlier when I shared like 4 directions we could go, and one of them was losing control. And one person said losing control. I didn't see anybody else share, the one of the other 4. So if you remember what they are, you can put it here. Somebody said, "Are you spiritual?" Please know that primal power and responsibility is spiritual by nature. Okay? So the answer is yes to your question. And I'll just say that since we have quite a few people here, your primal state is spiritual in nature when you're in responsibility of it. I'm not talking about just wilding out for the sake of wilding out. I'm talking about being in responsibility of who you actually are. So let's go into the topic of losing control. And this is as a means of becoming magnetic. And when you are a magnetic woman, you also repel. You magnetize and you also repel. So you magnetize other people who want that for themselves. Because I want you to understand, humans are fundamentally selfish. And even our magnetism to one another is a desire in ourselves to meet ourselves. A man being attracted to you is his desire to meet himself through you. You being drawn to another man or anybody, a teacher, a friend, is your desire to meet yourself in relationship with them. That's fundamentally what's happening when you are magnetized to somebody. He wants to meet himself in you, through you. You want to meet yourself in relationship with them. Okay? Now, the issue, and I'm getting ready to go now into this whole losing control thing and the primal responsibility of losing control. And what that looks like primarily in a sexual relationship, because you can do this in any relationship. You could do it, if the permission is in the relationship. You could do it with your mom. You got a girlfriend, like a woman with her girlfriends, or whoever else, spiritual teacher. I'm just going to use it in this context of man and woman in sexual relationships, since we're talking about being magnetic to the opposite sex. And when you're magnetic, period, you're magnetic to people, not just the opposite sex. You're magnetic to particular life experiences, to people, etc. And so this is a conversation. Before I go further, if you are not going to be responsible for everything, all the mistakes you make, what you thought you knew but you didn't know, what gets revealed to you in the process. Okay, so I'm saying that to be as a disclaimer for where we're getting ready to go in this conversation. I'm saying this for those of you who voyage into the rare work of becoming sexually whole. So this is not that wilding out shit that I keep hearing. Apparently people are associated with the feminist agenda. I'm not a feminist, like, goodbye. I'm about sovereignty. This whole, I fuck whoever I want to fuck, and almost like you're having sex as a means to prove that you can do what you want. Obviously, you can do what you want. Anybody can do what they want to do. You just better be ready to pay for living like that, okay? Is your primal self your true self? It's all that. Thank you, soul, for that question. Is your true self or intuitive self? Now, let's define primal. Primal is source. Primal is source. Primal is source. Thank you, whoever wrote that. Dragonflyness. Primal is source. Now, I want you to think about it like this, just to give us a visual. The meeting of the sperm and the egg, right? The meeting of the sperm and the egg. Yes, source as in God. Yes. Okay. And without going too far off, God is a man-made construct. Okay. God is a construct of man. Okay. Source is the actual life force. Humans impose so much on what God is and is not. Source don't give a fuck about none of your man-made ideas about what God is. Okay? No, God is this. No, God is this. This is God. Humans bastardize everything, so get up off that what God is. Okay? It is the truth without imposition. It is the truth of creation without imposition. It is the truth of the being without imposition. Imposition of religion, imposition of what you're supposed to do, imposition of what, imposition. No, do this, do humans, God, that. Yeah. Boom, the egg and the sperm, okay? And there's the combustion when the two coming together. I'm just giving you that as an example of source, okay? So that's primal. That's what primal is. Okay, that's its chaotic, most chaotic non-form. Okay, get your emotions and your fangs off of the word chaotic. Get your emotions and your fangs and judgment off of the word chaotic. Okay, chaos, I don't know. Back it up. Before anything becomes a thought, before anything becomes a form, before anything becomes touchable, tangible, it is chaos. Okay? Before your steak became a steak, it was chaos. Before whatever you wearing on your body right now, before it became that, it was in chaos. The house you live in, before it became these walls and all this, it was chaos. Before you even thought whatever you're thinking right now, it was chaos. And now it is form, something you can touch, something you can think. In fact, you can even think it now is a kind of form. The fact that this is a glass now is a kind of form, okay? So I'm giving some context here, okay? And again, you are responsible for everything that becomes form. Sex is form. Actual intercourse is form, okay? You are responsible for it all. This is good. Okay, for those of you who perpetually avoid responsibility, you're scared. Responsibility is good because that means you have the power. You have the power. When you're not in your responsibility, you don't have the power. All right, so we are now on the common ground here as a group that primal is source and that it is chaos before it is form. That all of us are chaos before we became flesh. All of us are chaos fundamentally, and in form, we do our best to maintain a sense of control. We do our best to maintain we know what we are doing, we know where we're going, we know what this is. This is what humans are doing all the time inside of, you could call it a psychosis, you could call it an illusion. You thinking you knowing what you're doing in this impermanent realm. You thinking you know what's next. You wanting to predict. You wanting to know everything and control things and control people and control the future and control. You can make decisions, yes. You can be like, okay, I'm going to save up $20,000 over the next 2 years because I want to travel the globe. Yeah, you can make plans and you can all that, but you don't know what's actually going to happen over the next 2 years. Did any of y'all know COVID was coming? You know, even if you sensed, for those of you who are tuned in like that, you sensed something was coming, but did you know it was COVID? How many of y'all accidentally got pregnant? How many of y'all, you know, everybody got things in their life because that's how it goes. This is an impermanent realm. You can plan all you want. You don't know what's going to happen with life. So this is a further evidence of the continuation that we're living in a primordial field where so much of chaos is in form, and it is acknowledged through our own thoughts and agreements that this is form. The fact that all of the United States agrees to cash is all of us agreeing that this chaos thing is now form and that it holds this value, and we use it to exchange things here. Okay? Chaos into form, and we all agree in our thoughts that this is what this paper, or now digital thing means. Okay, so I think I did a good enough job of laying that down. So what happens is, because the source of who we is primal, but we're all day, every day for all of our lives trying to pretend like we're these concrete form things, and we're bumping up against each other all the time, right? From birth with your mom and dad and whoever is in your circumference at young, and then up into elementary, other kids and teachers, and then up into middle school, high school, adulthood. And then we take it all the way up into adulthood, and now you're a woman, 35 years old, in relationship with men. He's a primal thing, you're a primal thing fundamentally, but you're both trying to act like you know what you're doing, what this is, right? As we totally go into an amnesia state that we're primal things. Then we put all the impositions on it, right? The impositions are what a woman is supposed to be, what a man is supposed to be, what a date looks like, right? You start putting all this stuff on top of it. What he's supposed to do, what she's supposed to do, what makes and then depending on your belief system, right? He could have been raised Mormon, she could have been raised Catholic, she could have been raised Christian, she could have been raised Muslim, he could have been raised, who knows, right? So then here all of y'all come meeting each other with all these ideas on top of the source of what you are, which is primal. And you are totally ignoring and oftentimes disrespecting and judging the actual source of you because you're looking for him, her to fit inside of this idea of what a woman is supposed to be, fit inside this idea of what a man is supposed to be, when the truth is you're even drawn to each other because you want to meet yourself, your real self, your primal self, in relationship with him. You want to meet your real self in relationship with her, but you're so busy trying to keep locking each other into these rigid ideas of what a man and a woman is that you never get the freedom of actually meeting each other, because that's our real intent. When our time here on earth, that's our real seeking, is to meet ourselves through and with one another. That's the real game here. That's the real longing. We just get trapped up in a job and taking care of the kids and routines and all of that. Somebody said it's the expectations that kill everything. All right, so I want to connect this to the magnetism, making him come in his pants. Listen at this, okay? I want to share beautiful story. So I used to date. We were lovers. It's not like we were dating like that. You know, it was a lover situation. I used to date this man from Trinidad by way of Brooklyn. And it was one of those, you get on my fucking nerves, come here. It was one of those kind of relationships. You get on my nerves, come here. Right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. And vice versa. He was, I was sexually, visually, I did it for him. You meet those people where, ooh, y'all just do it for each other, right? At that level. So what that means is at that level, you two are very fit for evolution, at whatever level you're at, okay? And in this relationship, wow, it makes me think of another too. I want to talk about this losing control. This is the point of me even bringing up this story, this losing control, so that you meet your primordial self, so that you, one, know what freedom feels like. So you're just a better human when you know what human feels like. And that you, for the women here who it's time for you to own your sex and be magnetic, okay? I'm sharing this story with you to help you start to feel what it feels like to be free and to own your sex, okay? Even when it doesn't, the opposite of owning, right? The disowning. And oh shit. So he and I are in the bedroom, this lover, okay? And so this is a man who, it's just, it's a lover situation. So we're not inside of like a marriage where we're, just like all the dynamics at play when you get married. So it can get stale after a while, or just all the rules that are inside of a lot of relationships. There's no hard and fast rules in this lover situation. That's what I love about lover relationships oftentimes. And so we're in the bedroom, and this is one of those sexual relationships where I could get lost in, okay? In the sex, it's like we can explore and we can, okay. And I remember being with this man. Now, this is a man who presents himself as very much in control, very much in control, very much like stoic, very much like how a lot of men like to present themselves, like they, are the man, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? And yet in the bedroom, the masculine aspect of me, because both men and women have masculine and feminine in him, the masculine in me would wake up in a way that it had never waken up before. Now, this is because of the dynamic of him wanting to meet his feminine self. Now, you see how beautiful this is? This is what I mean. This is what I mean. Gosh, this has so many layers. Women, this is it. This is what I mean by it is good to be a slut. Not in just the loosey-goose shit that, not the loosey-goose, but exploring the parts of you but it's there. Like, you can run from it all you want, but it's still there. And running from it just makes you go more crazy and feel like you're losing yourself. Okay. So this masculine would come over, and it even went beyond masculine. Just like this dominant aspect of me would wake up in a way that I had never met in myself before. And what was happening was he wanted to gain a reconciliation and a meeting of his feminine self. Remember, masculine and feminine is in both men and women, but men so often are shamed for their feminine selves. It's all men really, but y'all know in Caribbean culture, African culture, there's just so much shame around your feminine self. So these men grow up to be adult in age, so disconnected from themselves. And then oftentimes they will pick a partner that just reinforces that. And sometimes they meet a partner that they actually want to meet the parts of themselves that they just cannot meet by themselves. And when it's a woman who's open to that herself, then that's when he gets to meet himself in relationship with her, and vice versa. The woman gets to meet herself when she meets a man who's open to that and isn't trying to make her be what a woman's supposed to be, or she's trying to make him be what a man's supposed to be. It kills everything that makes the dick rock hard. It kills everything that makes the pussy wet, that makes her just want to swallow the dick, wrap her legs around the man. That, okay? So, for those of you, men and women, because I know men and women are here, you keep trying to make a woman be what you want her to be, and judging and all that. And then women, you looking at him like, like sassy, even calling men sassy. Do y'all know this emotive nature of the male is just really desire? He's sassy. This is what it looks like for a man to be starved. Do you know that? Oh, he's sassy. Oh, he too emotional. The fact that he's even showing emotion, the fact that he's even showing emotion. So what you want him to do? Be stoic? What you want to do? Whatever you want to do. What do you want to do? Again, that ties to what I said earlier about most women they're going to remain average. The only way a woman can remain average is if she doesn't own her sex. As soon as a woman owns her sex, she comes into a power that makes her not average. When you're not in your power, you constantly defer to men to approve of your way of being, approve of your womanhood, send you signals that you're doing a good job, that they like you, send you signals that they are picking you, you're worth being picked. And you're constantly in this sort of performative, transactional role, trying to trade your presence and your coochie for his attention and covering and validation, because you refuse to stand fully and that swirling, life-giving energy that lives in you all the time. So you reinforce what he needs to be as a man. You clamp yourself down and reinforce what it means to be a woman. And then what do you do with that? Where do you go with that? Where do you go with that? So we're in the bedroom, getting back to the story. And these masculine aspects will wake up to, wow. And then for a minute, I let myself go there, and it was like, and then I got scared of the masculine aspects of myself in me. I got scared of the dominance in me. And that experience introduced me to an aspect of myself that is in all women that, when we tell the truth, we're scared of. How many of you are scared of the dominance of you? Of the part of you that can conquer, the part of you that can devour, the part of you that can't. How many of you? And so, yes, sir, who's going to answer to that? How many of you are scared of that aspect of yourself? And so let's apply some alchemy to this right now, because all of this is actually really beautiful. It's just that most people don't know what to do with it. And just like what people do when they don't understand something, they judge it, banish it, shame it. Okay. Now, that aspect of you that can do that, it's in all people. Okay. Most people act it out in these lack of purpose, like higher order purpose way. And it comes out in these sloppy ways of do what I say. Or women have a tendency to play nice, like smile, but use her emotions behind her smile to kick out fangs, but smile like this and act like she's, but behind it is like, Okay. So again, this goes back to, for those of you who have small children, right? And your son or daughter asserts a kind of aggression for something that they want, and you immediately slap or punish or banish, right? And then so they immediately learn right in that moment that, oh, when I tell the truth like that, I can't do that. So I have to do a sort of cunning kind of behavior to get my mom to give me this, to not hit me. Oh, I have to, oh. And they learn very quickly how to become cunning. So then when you meet a man at 40 who's manipulative, when you meet a woman who's 40 who's cunning, because you shun her, you shame. But see, I've been working with humans a long time. All of humans' bad behavior is just a hunger. All of it. All of it. The worst of it is just hunger. Okay? So this meeting the parts of you, and women have told me this so many times. One, I'm scared of my power. Two, I'm scared of destroying people. Like, I'm scared of hurting people. I've heard this so many times. How many of you? I'm scared of, like, what's going to come out of me if I let this come out, right? So it's like you're just like this hungry thing that wants to meet yourself, but what's going to happen when I meet myself? So then what do? Then you meet these men and you start just crashing out. Oh, God. So then you start to feel like you're too much. You're crazy. Men don't know what to do with you. Because your job and your responsibility of your power is to show him what a woman looks like. But you've been unwilling to go into these danger zones in the bedroom. You're scared to explore the part of you that is a man. Oh, because I don't want, you got men on the internet, masculine. Yeah. Women have masculine in them, sir. Men who have feminine in them, who want to be fucked, who want to be conquered. And see, this is very, like, truly powerful men, like men who run multi-million, billion-dollar corporations, men who are like responsible for thousands of people's jobs and are in roles where their way of being is affecting nations because their companies are multinational and all that. So many of these men hire dominatrix. And to the average mind, it looks like he's a kinky son of a bitch. Ooh, that nigga like a dominatrix. Ooh, that nigga. See, I told you them white men are some kinky motherfuckers. Ooh, God, them white men is some crazy. Ooh, them some nasty, filthy motherfuckers. What they're looking for is balance at a psyche level, is what they're looking for. Because when you have that kind of power for real, okay, your decision is going to impact thousands of people's jobs. You got a bunch of people cowering to you because you're in this authority. So a lot of people aren't being honest with you. You have all these responsibilities. You are in power all the time. That doesn't imbalance to the psyche. So what the dom then comes in and does is she gets him into a submissive role to balance out the psyche. But see, average ass motherfuckers don't see that. They just see a kinky ass rich white man who just, ooh, he's a weirdo. I told you them white. Do you see the trickle down effect of this globally with all men in power, all women who want to be in power, but they're scared of losing control, devouring the world? Do you see? Do you see how much the world would change with women coming into their power? This is not about feminism and bitches just shooting a pussy juice all over planet Earth and the stupid, dumb, underdeveloped shit that people be talking about. Hold on. See? They say I see. This is what I mean. Not everybody means this, but I know me and a small group of women. This is what we're talking about. So, give a fuck about no feminism or all of these impositions that create another division, that create yet another war that doesn't take us where we really want to go planetarily. Okay? So, to bring this back to him being magnetized to you, okay, and part of what draws him is dick get rock hard. And I mean this literally, but I also mean this where something in him wakes up when he sees you. So I don't just mean a rock hard dick. I mean, a man knows when he's looking at a real thing most of the time. Makes me think of that J. Cole song. Shout out to the men who know the difference. And he knows when he's looking at a woman who's looking for his validation. He knows when he's looking at a woman who is looking for a father in her husband or in a man. They know. Okay, the ones who are men, who are sincere, who are looking for they know. Okay, so part of the magnetism, part of the making him come in his pants is you being willing to face everything that's in the way of the source of you. And what's often in the way for women is your animal self, the masculine in you that wants to conquer, the parts of you that want to devour. You're a hungry child in a 45-year-old body, 30-year-old body, 60-year-old body. Your deep longing for your high order thing. Because when you have that in you, you can hide all you want to, waste your life creating another version of hell every 5 years with a different nigga. It's still going to be there. You got all of that going on. A fucking mess. Some of y'all here know exactly what I'm talking about experientially. Okay? So, the space in between where you are now and your primal self is the shame, the fear of conquering, destroying, fear of loss of love, fear of death, fear of not belonging, all that. And all of that begins to get addressed, and we can go as far as your soul is ready to go inside of Shadow Gold. I'm going to work with you for 45 days in navigating all this. The shame, the hells you've created, your fear of not being loved, your fear of looking like a man. Masculine. All of these bitches is masculine. They're looking for reconciliation at a psyche level. You want to meet yourself in relationship with women and men. He want to meet himself in relationship with women and men. The ones who do want to meet themselves, because not all people want to meet themselves. So you can buy Shadow Gold with the link in my bio. We start next Monday, a week from tomorrow. Okay, a week from tomorrow, we're going to work together for 45 days. We're going to meet weekly for 45 days. Again, we're going to meet weekly for 45 days. You're going to start Shadow Gold. When you buy it and pay for full, in full, it's going to deliver to your inbox immediately. Start right away. And we're going to be inside of we're either going to be inside of a Facebook group or some other kind of way that we can remain connected for the 45 days. I don't know. It might be a WhatsApp chat, so we have options, but we're going to be connected. My piece just fell. We're going to work together for the 45 days as you go through Shadow Gold, and we're going to deal with the raw reality of what comes up with you in the process. You ready to get raw? Okay. So now's the time to ask questions. And I want to close out with this relationship I have with this Trinidadian man, which I'm so grateful for, to encourage those of you who are constantly looking for, because you're so hungry, you're so starved. Men and women are so starved for the real thing. And we don't know how to take ourselves out of control. So we are constantly trying to control other people and blah, blah, blah. We're constantly looking for a man to stake claim with us, create stability for us. Where are we going? What is this? I need to know what's going on. I need to know exactly, right? Clamping down, trying to make it go your way. Men and women. Anybody here guilty? Get off of that. Let that go. And get clear about your true intent as a man and a woman. Get clear about your true intent. Okay. If there's any men here who also would like to work with me privately, you can DM me. There's options. Okay. I love creating custom packages for men and women. I'm just saying, for men who are listening to me, Shadow Gold is not particularly for you. It's for women. It was made with women in mind. However, if you are a man and you know what I'm talking about here, and you know that I can help you come into reconciliation with your dark light, feminine, masculine, DM me. We can discuss a package. Only message me if you're ready. Don't bother me if you want some fuck shit. So, one, stop, and men too, stop forcing, trying to make a woman be, okay? Get intentional about meeting your primal self. Get intentional about becoming the magnetic thing that draws people into erectness when they come into your presence, man and woman. And with this Trinidadian man, there was such a, at the end of that relationship, there was such a gratitude because, one, I was able to find a peace around the dominant aspects of myself, and also get to experience a man and feminine aspects of himself, even childlike. Like I was able to, our relationship got to a place where the child in him would come out, like the look in his eyes looked like a little boy. And so being able to experience that in another man, especially a man who was a Caribbean man by way of Brooklyn. I mean, this was one of them niggas, you know what I mean? Like that. And I know women like that shit and, swear up and down you love a thug. Them thugs be hurting, okay? Them thugs be needing a balance of the psyche, just like them powerful men who run in multinational corporations hiring doms to help balance out their psyche. Them hyper thug ass dudes, or even men who just have very stressful jobs that command and demand them be very controlled and stoic and measured for most of their days and most of their life. And the same goes for women who are like hyper masculine, or even women who are hyper feminine. Wherever direction one goes, please don't think that women who are hyper feminine are like, oh my God, I wish I could be more like that. Them bitches be wanting to strangle niggas because they need a balance of the psyche. The psyche is constantly seeking balance, constantly seeking balance, constantly seeking balance. No matter what the angle of life the person is coming from, rich, poor, Christian, Catholic, Europe, the United States, male, female, young, old, the psyche is constantly seeking balance. So this is high order work. I mean, I think this is something a person probably wouldn't want to do until they either got sick of themselves, their pain had become intense enough, avoiding their power. They realize how much they've lost, how much of their life they've wasted, or they have a hunger to really live now. They have a hunger to meet and face their full selves, and they no longer want to run from who they are. Okay, that's who's most ready for shadow gold. Or if you feel called for us to work together, DM me and we can look at putting together a custom package. So just grateful for that. And then what can happen for you in relationship with, if you're a man with a woman or you're a woman with a man, what can happen in the relationship when both of you are in agreement with meeting yourselves as lovers? If you're at that state, or if you're already married, perhaps your relationship has room for that, or you can make room for it to really get to know yourself. Okay. All right. So I don't see any questions. Y'all got any questions? Thank you for being here. Thank you for your engagement. Thank you for sharing. So that's shadow gold. One last thing I'll say is I'm also hosting a workshop next Sunday, a week from today, called Navigating Envy and Hate. That's exclusively for women. It's about, as I started to talk about at the beginning of this live stream, navigating envy and hate as you come into the power that I've been discussing here today. Because as I told you, most women will remain average. Most women will remain average. Okay. And so they will hate you. They will, you already know, you've been on the receiving end of it. So it's a great way to practice how to move in a room full of vultures. Like literally how to interact with women who smile in your face or appear to be decent and cooperative. And there's different layers of this. So I will meet you at the layer that you're at, because there's many layers of this. I will meet you at the layer that you're at inside of the workshop on Sunday. Okay. Any questions? Feel welcome to DM me. I look forward to working with those of you who are going to be inside of Shadow Gold or inside of Sunday's workshop, Navigating Hate and Envy as you're becoming hot, wealthy, and free. You're welcome. Bye.